Hello, ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome to the outside. I thought that as it was a nice sunny day, I would get myself some much needed vitamin D and record a video while I'm at it. To wit, today's Naruse a Day review, and going further back in time for this one to one of the great directors, better known films from the early period of his career, that is to say from the 1930s, but still one that is comparatively little known, little distributed in the West. That is The Morning's Tree-Lined Street. This is a film that in some ways resembles two films made by Mizoguchi Kenji around the same time, the mid-1930s, Sisters of the Gion and Osaka Elegy, both stories of female oppression, female struggles to sort of make way in a city. Here, the city space, Tokyo, is more emphatically urban and alien, given that the protagonist is a young girl who repairs to the Japanese capital from the small rural village where she lives in order to make way, to make money, to make something of herself, away from her family and away from what she perceives to be the strictures of her upbringing, of her immediate environment, and of a slightly antiquated, slightly old-fashioned social system. Once in the city, unsurprisingly, the girl finds it immediately much more difficult than she ever envisaged. She struggles to find any work beyond being a bar hostess, which her friend, who was one of the reasons why she left her village to come to the city, warns her off this kind of work, telling her that it is poorly paid, demeaning, and will put her in the wrong company. She finds money hard to come by, lodgings hard to come by, and generally is very quickly disabused of any idealistic notions that she had about life in Japan's capital. Now, in general, Naruse's films of the 1930s are, although not overtly light or comedic or playful, are, I'm at the whims of those around me, ladies and gents. Whilst not playful or light, nonetheless not quite as dark or at least as melancholic as many of his 1950s films would be. And The Morning's Tree-Lined Street, despite its magniloquent and poetic title, bucks this trend a little bit, albeit not to the extent that those more familiar with the later work might expect. The great Naruse scholar Catherine Russell argues in her book Women and Modernity that Morning's Tree-Lined Street marks a significant step in Naruse's development of and exploration of female subjectivity. And to this end, the sense of darkness and light is well contrasted throughout to give a very distinctive tonality to this film. The film is notable for mixing real physical space with a kind of female fantasy space. It has a very notable dream sequence towards the end, which is not marked stylistically as such in the way that a Hollywood film may do so, or certainly may have done so at this time. And this sense of developing female subjectivity, marked by an experiential dimension, marked by experiencing urban space as contrasted with her familiarity with rural space, is very tellingly done, very beautifully done. There are several nighttime scenes that are marked with a sense of unease that may well be owed to nothing so much as the protagonist's sort of unfamiliarity with her surroundings. And similarly, the dream sequence is marked by perhaps a familiarity with nothing but movies, with received wisdom developed through popular culture's engagement with modernity and the city space. This film is not quite as foreboding as Mizoguchi's films of the period, the aforementioned films in particular, but neither is it quite as playful or as effervescent as notable films in a similar vein by contemporary and significantly important directors like Shimizu Hiroshi or Shimazu Yasujiro, both of whom worked in the genre in which Naruse is working here, the so-called Shoshimin Eiga, or stories of contemporary, slightly lower class Japanese life. It's well worth seeing. It has very poetic elements and a very, very strong sense of place. It opens with the protagonist leaving home, and there is an extended montage of shots taken from her point of view on the bus journey that spirits her away from her family and into the big city. And the portrait of Japan on the cusp of significant change as the 30s developed and militarism became ever more the norm is very pronounced here. So do give it a watch if you can. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, or don't like and don't comment and don't subscribe. Your choice. I'll see you the next time.